That is one of 3 storms that we're watching right now. So let's keep an eye on this one moving towards Tuscaloosa County. And if we want to go back into Jefferson County, Jill, let's get in here on these 2 storms. We need to keep an eye right in here. We may see another warning issued. We got a lot. Well, there we go. So first alert. There's that warning we expected as we looked at this data. So now Graysville, Mulga, Jefferson County, we're under a tornado warning. Jill, let's go quickly to the the first alert times on this, and we'll give you some alert times, and we'll move that over to the just want to move some of these things around so we can see it. There's a look. Pumpkin Center around 4:45. The Quintontown area at 4:49. Flat Creek around 4:50. Okay, Twillytown around 4:51. Just some locations. We're going to call out a lot of areas here as these storms move north. Tuscaloosa County at the moment, we're in a bit of a lull. Northern Tuscaloosa County, we're in the all clear. Tuscaloosa south towards Taylorville, we need to watch that storm moving out of northern Greene County at the moment. But Birmingham and around Graysville, Adamsville, we're under a warning now. There's Morris. So let's go in. We're still under a warning here in Pickens County, and we're probably going, there's a lot of rain in here, Jill. We're going to have to kind of filter through this. Let's stop this and go to velocity and just take a close look at this here. Let's zoom in to this part of Walker County. And that is a very strong signature. So right here is where we have the possible tornado in Walker County. Sipsey and Argo, there's the Dilworth area. Let's see, there's Jasper. So Curry is to the north here. The Curry area is right along the line. There's Boldo and Curry. There's Highway 69. So this is mostly pushing over towards Sipsey and Argo. Jill, if we go to our Summerton camera, let's check that out. There's Cordova. So that tornado now moving towards Sipsey. Let's get a live look quickly on this storm, see what we have going on there. Okay, so it is pouring rain right now, very low visibility. This is one of those critical times. It's going to be hard to see a tornado with this rain coming down like this. That's looking south along State Highway 78. Sayre Raceway's back in this area. This is a look from Summerton along Highway 78 where this is about to cross. Green Top Barbecue's in this area that we've told you about. That's where this is going to be crossing. Okay, you can see the low cloud base as well as you look back off to the south, but we have a temperature of 68, variable winds at the moment, so that storm is now crossing 78 at the moment. You can see things really changing up here as this line crosses the area. Back to live radar, let's investigate that other storm, Jill, that we had in areas further south. So watch out, Arkadelphia. Let's keep an eye on this. If you're watching me in the Colony and Damascus areas, you go just north there of Hayden along Interstate 65, anywhere between Dodge City and Colony, we need to watch that storm in Walker County. It's going to be moving in that direction if it holds together. Just want to give you the first alert. Jasper, that storm has passed to the east of you. All right, the next storm that we're watching, and this is the one that moved out of Tuscaloosa, northern Tuscaloosa County. It's running right along the Warrior River. There's the old Gorgas steam plant. This is Highway 269. That is Pumpkin Center. There's a look at Maxine. Alliance Road is back in here. This is where the Miller steam plant's located and is tracking in this direction. If you're watching me here around Quinton, West Jefferson Elementary School, Flat Top Road, you know what I'm talking about there, Flat Top Road, Williamsburg area, right here in parts of northern Jefferson County. That is the exact path of some of those strongest winds if we have a tornado here. We've had various debris signatures that have shown up with this storm as it's moved north. Jill is plotting those first alert times. A little bit slower motion here, moving east-northeast at 47, but still we're seeing that BTI rather elevated at this point. It looks like Flat Creek around 4:49, first alert time, Reed's Ferry around 4:49, and the Porter community at 4:50, okay? Maxine right now, we're talking the Porter community at 4:50. The time is 4:42. You have minutes here to get to that safe place. I know we've said it time and time again. If you live in a mobile home, affordable housing, try to find a sturdy shelter. Even before this line of storms reaches your part of the state, just know where to go. And if you have a hallway, bathroom in a well-built structure, you don't have a storm cellar, that's your next best viable option, to go to that center portion of the home away from windows. Try to get in a hallway, close the doors to offer a little bit of extra protection there from these storms. That head protection is critical in times like this. We've seen so much research, a pillow, blanket, helmet. Make sure you have ways to offer some extra protection. But we have multiple tornado warnings we're tracking right now. We're going to take these one by one. And we're monitoring all the storms here with our meteorologists, so we're not leaving a storm unattended. But right now, as we zoom into northern Greene County, one of the stronger indications of a tornado that we've seen, a very tight couplet now about to cross Highway 14, those inbound, outbound winds. There's Highway 14, there's Clinton, Union. I mentioned places like Mantuway here. We've seen many of these warnings in this part of Greene County, and a lot of times, if you watch me here in Tuscaloosa, you know that a lot of those storms, often when you hear us say northern Greene County, you know that it's a storm that's moving towards Tuscaloosa, and this is one we're going to have to watch. If you're in Ralph Foster's, Romulus Road area, Coker, all those parts of Tuscaloosa County, that is where this is moving. Jill, what are you hearing on this particular storm?
This particular storm, we've got Brett Adair on it. He says a very low wall cloud with a cone-shaped lowering. So we could have a tornado trying to either develop, or we have one on the ground. The problem is he has to reposition himself. This is northeast of Gainesville, and that was about 5 minutes ago. He's working to get into another position to get a better visual. Again, that's the challenge. You have to reposition yourself, and hopefully you don't have trees or hills blocking the way. I do want to give you an update on that storm that is moving to the northeast through parts of Walker County, because we had some newer information come in that we probably had some damage. This was in the east-southeast of Bowley Springs in Fayette County. This was around 418. Trees in the roadway there and structural damage reported. So remember, when we had that debris signature, we're getting some information back that, again, had produced some damage. We will be seeing some counties eventually removed from the tornado watch and get the all clear here soon. It may be parts of Lamar and Marion County, but as you can see ahead of it, we have a few areas that we have to watch very closely. We have 3 separate areas tornado warned, meaning we have radar indicating circulation, and tornadoes can develop very, very rapidly. So if you are under a tornado warning, you are in your safe place. And again, if you're in a manufactured home, you need to leave it now and get to your safe place. Get your helmet on, protect your head. Wes?
All right, Jill, and newsroom, listen up here. We're getting some reports out of Fayette County, trees down, power lines down, and structural damage on County Road 46. That's in the Bowley Springs area. County Road 46, that is going to be right in here where I'm pointing at, near Berry. Bowley Springs, we were just talking about, that is damage from these storms. I know we're zoomed way out at the moment. Let's get in here really close, Jill. I need to see the velocity data on this so we can see what we're looking at here. All right, so the storm to the north, the one that we've been watching that's actually started around Bowley Springs, this is the one that produced the damage over Fayette County around County Road 46. We've had some damage reported there. This one showing some weaker signatures right now. It looks a little bit weaker, not quite as pronounced rotation. We're still under a tornado warning around Sipsey and back towards Summerton, so stay put. We'll let you know once this passes. This may not be expanded to include places like Corner. We'll wait and see on that. By far, the strongest indication right now, Alliance. We mentioned you a few moments ago. This is Highway 269, Flat Top Road, right here at West Jefferson. You are being impacted any moment here by a possible tornado. There is the indicator, what we call the storm cell identification marker. There is actually the times. We got some updates here. I mentioned Williamsburg a few moments ago. That's just south of West Jefferson. Williamsburg, 449. The Flat Top area around 451. Flat Top, Williamsburg. If I call out your name, you need to be getting to that interior room in your home at this moment. Don't worry, just turn the TV up, get to where you need to go. We want you safe. If you have loved ones in this area, you're watching our coverage from afar. As I mentioned before, you're part of this coverage with us. Text, call, help spread the word, help folks be weather alert. We greatly appreciate it and really appreciate what you do helping us spread the word on these first First Alert Weather days. Graysville and Adamsville at the moment, you're under the tornado warning. Stay put. Our weather watcher, Debbie Alexander, she is in Graysville, and we are communicating right now one-on-one, and Debbie says a lot of thunder now in Graysville at 72 and said the power is blinking in those areas. So we're also, by the way, I mentioned ways to stay alert. You know, you go to that safe place. We're on the radio. We're on News Radio 105.5, 102.9, Magic 96.5 in the Birmingham area. iHeart radio stations across the state, you can hear our coverage, and we're going to call out those times for our radio listeners, and also to let you know we're streaming as well on apps and our streaming channels, so you can find us there as well. So the worst of this at this point, based on what we're seeing, has now crossed Highway 269. And by the way, Greene County, Tuscaloosa County, we're going to get back to that storm here momentarily. We're juggling between multiple tornado warnings at this point, but we have a warning here. Still a strong indication when you see this marker on our First Alert AccuTrack system, that is a storm likely producing damage at this time. That is south of West Jefferson. Graysville, this is going to move right across Graysville, it looks like. There's Brookside, here's Interstate 22, Brookside, I-22, Graysville and Adamsville, and along Highway 78 here, right at where Highway 78 crosses, and I-22 around Graysville, the Alden area. This is about to cross both of those highways and the interstate there towards Brookside. If this holds on its present track, I just want to point out Morris, Gardendale, we are included in the tornado warning. I don't know if this is quite as far north as Rickwood Caverns and Smoke Rise. I think this may be just south of there, the way it looks. Yeah, there's the actual warning Polygon. That does run close to Kimberly and Morris and Gardendale. And the bottom line, if you're anywhere within this Polygon, you need to be in a tornado shelter at this point. I know we're getting into some specifics, but tornadoes, they're like rogue missiles sometimes. They can always change track, folks. That's why we stay on TV in situations like this in continuous coverage, because these things have to be monitored scan by scan. Those tracks can waver and they can change, and we want to show you exactly what's going on with these and where they're going. But obviously that storm really standing out. As we go back to this cell over Greene County, and Jill's actually going to the view from Columbus, there's still some indication in here of rotation. We know we have a rotating wall cloud. We don't know at the moment if we have an actual violent column of air that's in contact with the ground, which by definition is a tornado. Many times we see the funnels. That's a funnel cloud, but it has to be in contact with the ground to be defined as a tornado in these cases, and it's just tough with radar in some cases to determine if that's happening here. I will say from the radar, looking at where this is, which by the way, it's right over Mantuway, one of those communities we were telling you about. Mantuway and Knoxville, just stay put on this warning. Hopefully it will be allowed to expire. Seems like this may be going through another cycling phase at the moment. I will say this has me a bit more concerned as well, because it's in the southern part of the line. And you get into Tuscaloosa County and point south where it hasn't rained a lot today. We've got temperatures bordering 80 degrees. I mean, it's just incredibly warm for this time of the year. So the instability is there. You get these storms out by themselves, very little competition. It doesn't take much to get these going as far as the risk for a tornado. So stay tuned, Tuscaloosa. Stay tuned right here. If you're in Romulus and Foster's, a lot of folks watching us here right now, and we're certainly going to stay on this one. Let's get back to the tornado warning where we have the very strong signature. Notice the radar still detecting right there that warning and that storm cell marker. That's what we call our shear identifier, and that has that thing now crossing I-22. By the way, that warning to the north, as we talked about, Walker County, we are in good shape right now. We just have one warning that we're tracking across northern Jefferson County. Jill, let's take a look at this thing. We've got our camera. We may be able to see this tornado if it's there from our tower camera looking to the north. Actually, if you look below me, we have the tower camera in the corner of the screen, and we may be able to take this full screen just to have a good view of this to the north. And there we go. There's a look at, this is from high atop Red Mountain. That is the storm. That is the one prompting the tornado warning. And a lot of rain with that, very low cloud base. We've got the winds racing out of the south direction right now. We've had some gusts over 40 miles per hour. If you are tuning in right now on this First Alert Weather Day here on WBRC Fox 6, Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt with Jill Gilardi, Meteorologist Lauren Linehan, and the entire team at WBRC. We have folks all across the state right now as we monitor the evolving situation. We have a storm possibly producing a tornado at this moment near Sayre. This is crossing Highway 78. And another view, Jill, I don't know if we'll see much, but if we try to look south, we have a camera in Summerton. We might look south in this direction. There's going to be a lot of rain in here, but we could have a tornado embedded in a lot of rain now crossing very close to Graysville. Let's go back to base velocity.
Wes, if you toggle on links 2, I have the Summerton camera on there. I'm going to put the cameras on links 2.
Oh, wow, look at that. It is pouring right now in Summerton, and the wind's picking up. Summerton, this warning is going to be just south of you, okay? If you're watching, I know it's ominous out there, some nasty weather. We've got some very heavy rain. Folks out around Empire Road, I know you're watching right now, Curry, you get into Winston County, it's a lot of rain, gusty winds. I just want to say that there's a couple storms we're watching that has us concerned about the tornadoes, and both of those are south of you right now, okay? The one we're watching is right in northern Jefferson County, just north of Birmingham, Gardendale, north of Crumley Chapel. Folks watching me here around Midfield and Fairfield, we're watching it closely as that storm tracks just to the north. And I'll get back over, Jill, to that storm that we're watching now. One tornado warning for Jefferson County. The areas like Corner I talked about, Sipsey, Dora, Bryan, we're out of the warning. It's this polygon that includes Sayre. Summerton's back in here, so this is south of Summerton. There's Sayre, there's the river, and then you get along 78 South, right there where it crosses I-22, near Graysville and Adamsville. That's where we have the strongest indications of rotation. Jill is plotting those times. As this moves to the north, that polygon, Pinson, we are in the polygon. So if you're watching me on Highway 79, Highway 75 north towards Pinson, Trafford areas, be weather alert as this moves to the northeast. This is going to be moving in your direction. There's Brookside, Graysville, Alden areas, and Vulcan. All these communities at the moment. Strong rotation. Be in that safe place. There's Fieldstown Road, Fieldstown area. This is over towards Parker Towns. You know where I'm talking about there off of 65 in Gardendale. It's going to be moving over towards Fieldstown Road. I want to make sure if you're watching me there, you're in your safe place, just north of Fieldstown Road. There's, again, Jill is circling, very strong indication at this point, Jill, even when we look at the one in northern Greene County, and let's examine that quickly, and I want to come right back to this because this is showing some very strong indications here of a tornado. And actually, we're still getting a shear marker with this still showing up. So Tuscaloosa, be ready. Let me check and see. We may have a warning coming for some other areas. I don't want to miss this. And Jill, you can jump in as we monitor.
Yeah, we're right now keeping a watch. I don't see any indication of a warning yet for Tuscaloosa County, but that can quickly change. There's actually 2 areas of circulation. You can see one right here and the one that is closest to the warning that is about to expire. So I think what is happening now, they have so many storms now, they're monitoring, so watching this very closely across Tuscaloosa County, but really the bigger concern is across the northern Jefferson County. This has shown a very strong signature with it, so we're going to zoom in and take a look at this one a little bit further because again, we'll switch products real quick. We'll go to the velocity. I keep toggling at times. If you see a blank map, I'm checking the debris signature. I have not seen indication that we have debris with this yet or a tornado touching down, but Wes, look at that now. That couplet is getting stronger, and so now we're seeing those colors and being, more enhanced. So that's an indication that we probably have a tornado in the process of forming. This is on Highway 78. Okay, this is going to be near the Chatopa area. Jet. We also have 6th Street northeast. So I'll zoom out a little bit more so we can see who else is next in line of this possible tornado that's on the ground. So in the Jet Crocker Junction, you need to be in your safe place. These are fast moving storms. You have little time to react. That's why when we stretch out this map and show you the whole area under that warning, you have very little time, but you have time right now. Morris in the Brentwood area to get into your safe place. Gardendale, if you're traveling on 65, you need to get off of an exit right away and get into a convenience store, a gas station somewhere, but you don't want to be in your vehicle. If you're going to be, traveling in a vehicle is not a good place to be. Also, a manufactured home, you need to leave and find a safer alternative. Hopefully, you've already done that, but again, we want to give folks that first alert in Aniana and Blount County, because you'd be next in line for where this storm is tracking and how fast it's moving. So right now we're watching real closely. I mean, there's indication probably we have a tornado on the ground. The Weather Service saying not surprised if there's something undetectable going on right now in the Brookside area, just to the north of Brookside area. So again, we toggle over to correlation coefficient. There's one little blip right there, Wes, one little tiny blip. So we might have some debris being lofted with this storm. So again, we're seeing tight rotation. That is right by that little blip I showed you, where we're seeing that tight rotation with this particular storm. It's moving very fast. So no sooner do we get a new update, we're moving this map over very quickly for you. So again, we're talking about Barber Boulevard. If you live on that boulevard, if you live on Mount Olive Road, again, this tornado that's potentially on the ground is heading directly for you. Decatur Highway, Morris, Majestic, you're all next in line to potentially see a tornado that is forming. We'll go back over to the correlation coefficient, not seeing any debris being lofted, but we have strong signatures there. I mean, look at the shear rate. We've been taught, Wes, that when you see that S signature, it's never a good sign. That is some very intense rotation. Wes?
Yeah, that's a very good indication there, Jill. I was just noting the National Weather Service are watching this one in Tuscaloosa. At this point, not enough rotation there to make the call. Actually, well, there we go. They just actually decided to issue a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa, 7 miles northwest of Mountville. So we have a tornado warning now for Tuscaloosa and Bibb counties. That's going to follow that tornado warning here into southern Tuscaloosa County. I just want to say for folks watching around northern Jefferson County, if you're around Mount Olive Road, Mount Olive Elementary School, you are in the path of this tornado. Mount Olive Elementary School, Mount Olive Road, I want you in that safe place for that one storm. This one here, Graysville, the worst has passed you. There's the new warning right now. Let's get in really close to Tuscaloosa County. And Lauren, have that camera in Tuscaloosa on standby. Just kind of keep a watch on it and make sure we don't miss anything as this moves in. We have cameras across Tuscaloosa County. There is the tornado warning, the tornadics part of the storm. At this point, Foster's, it's closing in on you. So this is quick mover. These things moving 50 to 60 miles per hour. So there's enough indication here by radar that we could have a tornado here. We know we've had a rotating wall cloud with this, so Foster's, get to that safe place. If you're watching me around the Joe Malisham Parkway, I want you in that safe place right now. Joe Malisham Parkway, back to Foster's, the Toll Bridge Road, back to Foster's, get to that safe place. As you can see now, things starting to tighten up again with these latest scans. So here's a look. That's Highway 69. There's Halls, Maxwell Crossing, Thomas Road, Little Sandy, Inglewood Elementary School, and Shelton States right in this area. The way this is moving, we've seen so many storms move across Foster's, and the way I'm detecting this thing, this is going to move over towards Menorah Estates. So if you're watching me around Hillcrest Middle School, Menorah Estates, go ahead, get to that safe place the way this is tracking right now. You're right in the middle of this polygon. Actually, just looking at the latest storm cell marker, even takes us a bit further north. See that track? That takes us closer to downtown Tuscaloosa. There's a look at the downtown area, Interstate 359. So anywhere, Tuscaloosa, Northport, we're in this polygon. So if you're in the warning, you're getting those alerts right now, we want you in that safe spot. But I'm trying to give you the most specific first alert tracks here on this and give you those first alert times. So we're going to watch Tuscaloosa here. Let's get back to Let's quickly check out that one we have, Jill. We're going to have to toggle back and forth. Let's get to this one that we have across northern Jefferson County, because we could have some damage happening at the moment. Look at that. You see the rotation that's happening in here. There's Gardendale, there's Morris, Gardendale, Croston, there's Pinkston. So we're talking Highway 79, Highway 75. This is moving towards Palmerdale, those areas. First alert times of arrival for those storms. There's the track. It actually takes that towards Majestic. The way this is moving at this point, it's staying south of Highway 160 and Smoke Rise. If you're watching to the north, looks like that's going to be tracking. It's right around Mount Olive Elementary School. Brookside is back in here, so that is crossing Mount Olive Road, right around Fieldstown Road. Over here around Parker Towns, I mentioned a few moments ago, there's Gardendale. That's going to be crossing near Morris and the Croston area to the north. There we go. We've got the updated warning, and that takes that right through the Palmerdale area. Jill, let's put the first alert times. We have a lot of folks listening to us on the radio, and if you're listening in, let's start out. We're about to go to Tuscaloosa County here. We got some live views. Kimberly at 5:08 p.m. Let's put those back on the screen, Jill, and there we go. And we're talking Pinson around 5:11, Self Creek around 5:11, and Kimberly at 5:09. 5:03 right now. You've got little time. Get to that safe place. Okay, let's go back to Tuscaloosa County. That is one of two warnings that we're tracking. We've got tornado watches across the entire area, and we've got a tornadic storm right now approaching the Foster's area, and this is looking more impressive by the moment. Let's go ahead. Can we go to our woods and water camera and bring up the controls? And we need to pan that back to, we've got woods and water pulled up right now. Actually, I'll go to that camera. And Lauren, let's pan that camera back to the west. Let's go to pan it go to the left here on this, and we're going to see that storm. This is off of Skyland Boulevard. And let's watch it back in this general direction. That storm is going to cross right in here. This is a live look. Can we drop this menu, Jill? Perhaps maybe go to the toolbar there. And there we go. Thank you. And Jill and Lauren here in the Weather Center doing a great job with the radar controls and tracking this storm. So that is the storm. Jill and Lauren, they are really locked in on that tornadic storm. That's it, and it's moving towards this camera. Let's watch it back in here. It actually looks like a low base. We may need to make sure we have the autofocus turned on as well. And
it's toggled.
Okay, all right, so let's keep an eye on this. 73 with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. The way this is moving, we're going to stay on that view as we watch this. Here's the tornadic storm moving through Foster's at this point. There's Interstate 5920, Berkshire Estates. This is Joe Malisham Parkway I'm highlighting at this point. There's Taylorwood Estates, Inglewood Elementary School. There's Highway 69, so Maxwell Crossing. This particular one at the moment, it looks like it's staying just north of Moundville. The way it's tracking, Hale County, I know a lot of folks watching us right now in Hale County. We're going to keep a close watch on what's happening there, but let's get into Tuscaloosa County. That's the couplet. That's the inflow notch that we're looking at. Inbound, outbound winds. Foster's, there's the tornado crossing the Warrior River. This is out around Old Lock 9 Road at the moment, and the way it's moving, that's going to put this thing, I've seen so many storms cross in this particular area. There's Skyland Boulevard. So our camera is going to be located right here. If we follow that tornado, it's actually going to, we're going to have an eye on this as it passes by. The old McFarland Mall is in this area. Ski Lodge Apartments in the path of this as well. If you're watching me around the Ski Lodge Apartments there off of Skyland Boulevard, the license office, Tuscaloosa Toyota's back in here as well. That's going to be where this is moving. There's Menorah Estates. That is Highway 69 south. I believe that's Old Greensboro Highway back here towards Inglewood Elementary School. We have Inglewood, Shelton State, Menorah State, and this is Interstate 2059. There's 359. So the Lowe's is right in here. This is the Moody Swamp area back in here. There's Berkshire Estate. So if you're watching me around where the Lowe's is, Skyland Boulevard, and that's where the Ashley Furniture is located as well. That is where this is going to cross. That's going to put this around Skyland Estates, right there off of Skyland Boulevard. And if this holds together, Jill, let's pan this just a bit. Let's pan it to the south just a bit. I want to follow this arrow so I can see some areas. Actually, pan it to the north so we can see where this is going. Let's see, there's Canyon Lakes, and looking at Skyland Boulevard, so Cottondale, I want to give you the first alert. This is moving towards Cottondale and 5 points, okay? If this holds together the way the tornado is moving. And look, we're getting some heavy rain right now. We're getting some gusty winds, and we have a storm here that's producing some damaging wind gusts. It's a severe thunderstorm, but where would the tornado be? That's what I'm focused in on at the moment. Just giving you that first alert for where the tornado, if we have one producing damage, where it would be in our system. This thing is spot on several times with it. When you see those time times of arrival: Little Sandy, 5:13, Pearson Subdivision, 5:13, Green Valley, 5:14, and the Greenview area around 5:14. Make sure you pay close attention. This is moving east-northeast at 67 miles per hour, so it is critical that you get to that safe spot immediately. Look how quickly, here it is now. It's crossing near Inglewood Elementary School. Jill, let's go in even closer. Let's get into some of the streets here. There's Kings Acres. Let's zoom in really, really close, and let's pan down just a bit on the radar. Let's hold it right there. So there's Mimosa Park. This years ago, Mimosa Park Golf Course was right in here. There's Taylorville. There's Menorah Estates. And you see where it's going to cross right here at Taylorville. There's the old Montgomery Highway. The Super Skate on Highway 82, that is where this is going to cross as well on 82. So a first alert anywhere from Taylorville back over towards where the Super Skate's located, Alpine Hills, and moving across Skyland Boulevard. This is moving over towards Ski Lodge Apartments in that general vicinity where the Walmart's located off of Skyland Boulevard in that direction. Let's get back to Jefferson County, Jill. We have 2 warnings, active warnings at the moment that we are tracking. And the way this is moving here, Blount County, certainly watching you as well. I want to let you know, if you're watching me here south of Aniana, all good areas, I want to make sure that you're paying close attention to this storm. There's Crompton, there's Brentwood Village Springs. This is moving in your direction. There is Pinson, north of there. This is where we have a tornado now. Gardendale, we're watching it closely. Fieldstown Road area, there's Kimberly and Morris, and this is crossing around Fieldstown Road along Interstate 65. Damaging winds possible here, and we may have a tornado. As we monitor the situation, we have lots of feeds, weather watchers across the area. And by the way, that Tuscaloosa tornado warning goes until 5:45. Northern Bibb County, we are included. Now listen to this, the latest update: severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Shelton State. This is from the Weather Service near Tuscaloosa and near Shelton State, moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. So when we have a system like this moving at 70 miles per hour, you have very, very little time to react based on the speed of these particular systems. I'm getting some reports out of northern Hale County. No damage reported there, which this is just to the north. As we follow up with the Weather Service, looks like they've actually canceled the tornado watch for Lamar and Marion counties. So they've actually canceled the tornado watch, which is some improvement. We talked about this being a fast evolving setup, and we're seeing some watches being trimmed away already. We're zoomed in right now. We have a live look. We're watching one tornado warning to the north. Lauren, do we have that camera still active? Okay, let's just check out the view. This is off of Skyland. Here's that tornadic storm. It's approaching, and look at that sky. That is an ominous view. We're at 73 degrees. We're about as primed in as we can get here when it comes to the kind of ingredients that you need for severe weather. 73 in February at 5:10 in the evening. We've got winds gusting out of the south at 30 miles per hour. The lightning frequency starting to pick up. Where this camera, I mentioned Ski Lodge Apartments. This is at Woods and Water. That's right there just above where the Walmart's located. At the base of this ridge top here is Ski Lodge Apartments. So we're going to be right there as this crosses this storm, if it is producing a tornado. If you look closely, you can see the clouds there. We do have, some a lot of motion going on with this cloud, this storm as it approaches. Those winds will be quite gusty, and we may actually also go to the downtown camera and probably have a good look at this as well from downtown looking to the south. Oh, wow. So, no, we don't. It's just a lot of rain there. Stay put if you're in the downtown Tuscaloosa area. Let this wet weather back off a little bit. I know it's windy, it's stormy, it's nasty out there, but you can see to the south where we have less rain. This is that very suspicious area. We call that rain-free base. John DeBlock with the Weather Service just noted, and a good observation about there being what we call a bounded weak echo region, where we actually have an area where we've got a strong updraft and a lack of precipitation. And what do we have, Jill? Looks like, what do we have approaching right there? Looks like we can see
a lot of lightning, that's for sure, and that's never a good sign when you start to see the lightning uptick. But yeah, those clouds, I mean, the wind is moving so fast that it is moving so fast, that cloud? We don't know. It's hard to tell. Is that just moving in a straight path? Does it have some curvature to it? Again, it is really tough to see when you have sometimes these water-loaded storms, or you're in an area where you have trees that are too tall to see the lowest part of the storm. But we certainly see the air and everything kind of just moving like sheets of rain across the screen there. We're watching that frequent lightning. So usually when you start to see the lightning ramp up, you probably have a tornado in the process of forming. I've seen that many times, and there's a lot of lightning. If we were to go back to a radar, it is very, very active in terms of the lightning out there. But again, we're watching our cameras very, very closely. Again, we have not seen any updates from the Weather Service that we have a tornado on the ground, but that could quickly change.
Yeah, let's get back to Jefferson County. We don't want to lose sight of that storm. We're watching north of Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, southern Tuscaloosa County, a tornado warning. We've got one here north of Birmingham at the moment. Here it is. The tornadic circulation is now crossed Interstate 65. If you're watching me here around Compton, Brentwood areas, we need to look at some, let's see, velocity on this. And based on what we're seeing right now, looks like the circulation has weakened a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go back. We need to go back to Tuscaloosa. All right. Okay, so there we go. So we've got the storm now moving through Tuscaloosa. Very strong wind gust there. You could almost see it looked like that light pole was about to leave here a few moments ago. So we're watching two storms right now, live coverage on WBRC Fox 6, a severe thunderstorm that is now moving through Tuscaloosa. Tornado warning. Look at those winds. It seems like the winds are moving in various directions. That's high atop Woods and Water off of Skyland Boulevard. And we want you to stay put. Stay with us here, folks listening in on the radio. This is a fast-moving storm. It'll be through this part of the county very quickly. We will give you the all clear. The winds just picked up. We just had some indications there of some severe wind gusts moving through Tuscaloosa. That's why we had to quickly break away from what we were talking about there in Jefferson County. But Tuscaloosa County, we are watching it. Two storms moving through the area that are really packing a punch at the moment. Cottondale, be ready. Those stronger winds are moving in your direction. All right, we need to go back to what do we have?
Just want to give you an update. We're getting reports, spotter report. They saw a funnel behind Englewood Elementary School. I know you were mentioning Englewood, and again, that happened a little bit ago. We're also hearing reports of nickel-sized hail around a Goldfinch Drive. So a lot of standing water too. So there are multiple different threats when you have these supercell thunderstorms. So traveling right now, not advised, of course. And if you are listening to us on the radio and you are on the road, definitely find a place to just get off the road and go into a convenience store somewhere is better than being in a vehicle.
Yeah, and we need to mention we have another tornado warning we don't want to lose sight of. Lauren, if you can stay on that Jefferson County storm, we can come to you here in a little bit. I just want to watch this one as it moves into Blount County. We need to keep an eye on this, and I'm watching for folks here in Pinson, Palmerdale, all these areas to the north. I mentioned Cedar Springs, I should say, some of these areas to the north. There's Pinson. I see in here the signature doesn't look quite as pronounced as what we were seeing earlier. There it is right there. Let's just hold the view. Let's stay right here. So Kimberly to White Oaks, and that is about to cross 79 here, just south of Cedar Springs, Crompton, Brentwood areas, and Highway 75. Be alert just in case this warning is expanded into southern Blount County, Springville areas. We need to watch this when we are still seeing right there easily some strong wind gusts, and need to watch this closely. That warning may expire, though. We have just far northern Jefferson County here, north of Pinson, in fact, under the tornado warning. Kimberly, Morris, the risk has passed to the east of you. All right, let's get back to Tuscaloosa County. As Jill noted, we had a report of a funnel cloud around Englewood Elementary School. Brett Adair actually reported a wall cloud with this same storm as it moved through Sumter County. Here's a look as we get in really close. Let's let's go into that's Skyland Boulevard, Highway 11, right here to the north. Let's go in really close. There's Hargrove Road, Woodland Forest. If you're watching me in Woodland Forest areas, there's Buttermilk Road, back over towards Hargrove Road and the Woodland Forest neighborhood. I want to make sure that you are in that safe place quickly. This is well, there you go. There's Woodland Forest right there. That's right in the path of this, giving you that first alert time. Hargrove Road, Woodland Forest. There's Skyland Boulevard. I mentioned where the Tuscaloosa Toyota is located right in here. Also the license office. You get back in here and that's where the Woods and Water camera is located. So we're getting into a lot of the rain. We've had actually some strong gusts, and the way this is moving, I guess from the viewpoint that we had, the tornado would be even further south. It's actually crossed around Stokes, and this isn't far. The Dreamland Barbecue, the original Dreamland, is right here around Jerusalem Heights. It's passed just south of you. It's moving towards Woodland Forest. There's Buttermilk Road, Eastern Hills area. This is Buttermilk Road. That's where the TA truck stop's located. If you're in a car, if you're in a vehicle, you're on Interstate 5920 right now and you hear my voice. If you're listening to us on the radio, you need to pull over. You need to pull off one of these exit ramps before this storm crosses Interstate 59, just in case we have a tornado that is about to cross the internet. What was that? Okay, we're getting some scenes. Actually, okay. Okay, so this is at Highway 11 Skyland Boulevard. We're going to bring up that view again. We actually had one of the views. We'll try to get that for you. But we have cameras in this area trying to follow this storm as it's moving through Tuscaloosa County. Jill, go.
That hail. That's a.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that is right around. What you're looking at here, that is some very, very heavy precipitation, and what we're likely seeing here is a hail core with this storm. That's the Fleetwood area. This is Highway 216 right in here. So this runs back to Brookwood. So that heavy rain that just moved through Tuscaloosa, there's Alberta City. That is Crescent Ridge Road right here. Crescent Ridge Road, Alberta City, that's 5 points. And Highway 216. So Highway 216 back to Alberta City, that's where we're getting maybe some quarter-size hail easily out of this. Make sure if you're anywhere around Brookwood, you need to be in a sturdy shelter right now. If you have a carport, hopefully the car is parked in the carport, because there is a big hail producer right now moving in that area. You know, that's one thing we see when we have these storms with these tall updrafts and these severe thunderstorms. You often see not only damaging winds, but you see fairly impressive hail cores with that. That's moving to the north. This is certainly a severe storm. East Brookwood, be ready. Even if we don't have a tornado here, we're going to have some damaging winds over 58 miles per hour. Jill's actually going into 3D mode, our 3D renderings. We can look at the height products of this particular storm. I mean, we're talking storms here, 30,000 feet. You look at the tops of the storms, and we're kind of filtering through, and we can find out where we actually have the large hail that's falling. Now, here's Hagler, here's Duncanville. This is Tuscaloosa County. And what Jill is doing is she's actually conducting a slice into this storm, and you can see Brookwood. Look at the tops there. That is 30,000 feet up. So we're talking about some tall storms here moving through, which we've seen storms even in the summertime a lot taller, but right there around the Hillview area. This is going to be actually out around where Kings Mill Road runs into 216 in the Hurricane Creek area, where we're going to see some of that large hail with this thing that's moving towards Brookwood. Jill, let's go back to the tornado track. I want to go to Velocity and get into Cottondale, Alabama. I need to see these roads because this is getting closer to Jefferson County at the moment. We want to go in really close. This is the inflow notch, air that's flowing into the storm out around Coaling. That is Highway 11. That's the first exit. That is the second exit. That is Highway 11, and that turns into Skyland Boulevard right there through Cottondale. That is where the Southland Restaurant's located, right here. That's where the junction is located between Highway 11 and also Skyland Boulevard in Cottondale. This is now about to cross at Canyon Lakes. Here's the Grimes community. This is where the tornado is located. It is moving right across Buttermilk Road at this point. You need to be in a sturdy shelter. I mentioned as many walls between you and the outside, some extra protection, some head protection in a situation like this. This is the one storm that is getting our attention. That warning, by the way, I believe northern Jefferson County has expired.
Yeah, they canceled that warning, but it did create some damage. We have reports Graysville 18-wheeler blown off I-22 from a possible tornado. We're also getting reports from some of our weather watchers, numerous trees down across northern Jefferson County. So again, those storms up to the north, they are weaker, but they did produce some damage. And now the storm we're focused on is in Tuscaloosa County. Actually, this is our only tornado warning we're covering now. We've actually seen a lot of this kind of just become heavy rain to the north, so these southern storms we'll really have to keep a watch on. But this is the one right now. Tuscaloosa County still just radar indicated west. I'm not getting any reports of any touchdowns, things like that, but certainly it has that look to it that we have to watch it very closely. Well,
we got a lot of rain out there for areas to the north, and that's why I did not want to leave that storm in northern Jefferson County. We had some damage reported with it, and that storm has weakened. It's now moved on out of Jefferson County, thankfully. It's just a lot of rain that we're having at the moment. But I want to go now. We've got one active warning that's in our coverage area, and that is for Tuscaloosa County. This is right here around Tuscaloosa in the Brookwood area. Jill, let's go to velocity so we can see the data and make sure we have the latest scan here. Looks like this might be dated a little bit. Let's make sure we're up to date here on the scans. So there we go, right here. Okay, so let's go in really close. Brookwood areas. I tell you, we're going to have to look at this, maybe look at the shear product. It looks like it may be weakening a little bit, perhaps. This is our indication of the tornado. So there's Canyon Lakes. There is Highway 11, Highway 216, Brookwood area right here. So Brookwood, that's actually approaching. That's where we had some of that large hail detected a few moments ago. First alert, Brookwood.
1 inch diameter hail detected at the McFarland Mall.
Well, there you
go.
Again,
we're getting proof now that the radar is indicating we do have a big hail core with this storm. We're watching the circulation. Again, still radar indicated. Seems to be weakening a little bit. That's good news, the circulation. But again, that hail, we can really see it in the reflectivity product. Again, where you see those really dark colors. Right here, you can see near Brookwood and East Brookwood. In this zone, that's your hail core. So you have all these pieces of ice that are getting pushed up into the storm and getting bigger and bigger, and then eventually they fall. Just due to gravity, and they don't have strong enough air to hold them back up there. And again, we've had 1 inch hail diameter falling down in the McFarland Boulevard area. So again, that's another part of the storm that we have to watch out for in terms of threats. We have heavy rainfall. You can get flooding from these kind of storms. We're watching for circulation. Right now, it's not tightening up, so that is some good news, but certainly we do have a hail core with this. And so if you have vehicles outside exposed to 1 inch diameter hail, you're going to get dents on your car. Anything under 1 inch in diameter, probably less in the way of damage, things like that. It's usually 1 inch or higher that is considered severe hail. So again, we're seeing not only for the tornado warning, but it does include the chance for those destructive straight line winds. Tornado warning also including the threat for 1 inch diameter hail, or if not slightly larger. Now I will say this is some good news. Let me just show you the past 30 minutes with this storm, because you'll notice the hail core has decreased. So see that really dark area over Fleetwood? So again, maybe weakening a little bit there. Wes, you have some new information?
Yeah, Jill, and I want to go back to what we were talking about. Let's get into street level here so we can see some of the roadways. There's Brookwood, and there's a look. We want to give you some first alert times on this. This is a look at Covered Bridge Road. You see right here, Covered Bridge Road, and this is Fred Hunter territory. Fred lives out in this area here in Cottondale, so we know this area very well, and back towards Brookwood, and you can see around Raven Lane if you're watching us, the Mercedes plant back up towards Raven Lane. We want to give you the first alert for this storm. As Jill noted, large hail core. There you can see right there that rotation and where that's approaching. George Newell Road, it's approaching you. As we take a look at some of these highways and roads here, it's moving parallel between 59 and 216. How many times have you heard us say that with respect to these tornadic storms as they move through Tuscaloosa County? This is one, and we actually have large hail reports that were around the old McFarland Mall area. We've had several tornadic storms move over the old McFarland Mall and out around Skyland Boulevard, and this is one of those. Thankfully, the one report that we're seeing so far is a lot of hail reports, wall cloud, funnel cloud reports, and hopefully we don't have any structural damage reports with this. But Brookwood, you need to stay put. We will let you know once that warning expires. And actually, just looking at the entire Polygon, I just want to point out Jefferson County, just be on standby here. If you're around Powder Plant Road, Eastern Valley Road, Tannehill State Park, back to North Johns and Bull City areas, just be ready in case we need to seek shelter. We may have a warning coming if this holds together, just giving you the first alert. At this point, the way this is tracking Tuscaloosa, the heavier rain has backed off. Now, as this tracks on to the east, we're concerned about the eastern part of Tuscaloosa County at this point. This is lifted north of Taylorville. This is running along Highway 216. Your tornado, I'm circling it right in this area. This is where the tornado would be between Brookwood and Coaling, out around Kings Mill Road, and that's going to be tracking over towards Lakeview. If we follow this along, if this holds together, the $1 Million Lakes area, okay? If you're watching me around $1 Million Lakes, want to make sure you're in that safe place at this time. Again, I mentioned earlier, I never like to say it's best to be out of a mobile home. We've had situations where people have went outside and literally hugged a tree during an event like this and have survived. The mobile home was destroyed. And I always like to say it's best to plan ahead. Know where to go, whether it's a local church, a building. You know, if you're on the road right now, you're listening to me and you're in the path of this tornado, find a nearby store, pull off the road, get out of that vehicle. Do not seek shelter under an overpass. That channels the wind, that enhances the wind speeds. It's not a safe alternative. And especially with something like this where we got some large hail, certainly not a good time to be on the road. That stretch right now between 59-20 and Birmingham, it is absolutely pouring. And check this out. This actually coming in from the Parish community. And, well, I'll have to go back. I actually had some video pulled up a few moments ago, and I'll have to see if I can access that. But we had some video from the Parish area where we had some very heavy rainfall that was impacting parts of Walker County, and that's what we're seeing here in most of the coverage area right now. Jill, if we back this view out, I just want to show, I see we've got the severe thunderstorm warning now that's been issued for Jefferson County, but this is from Andrew Wright, and you can see it is pouring in some of these areas where we're actually out of the warning. So not a good time to be on the roads. That's in Walker County. Andrew Wright again sharing, but very heavy rain, Jill, that we're seeing with these storms. But you've got the update now. Looks like we're going to have a severe thunderstorm warning with this cell.
Yeah, going forward with it, downstream we're going to be seeing again the threat for damaging winds, 60 miles per hour. Also that threat for 1-inch diameter hail. So again, we have multiple areas included in the path. Of course, it's going to pick up on the closest locations. We'll have to zoom in and give you that first alert once we kind of go over towards the future radar mode. But just wanted to give you an updated look at this track. And the Barron Tornado Index, it is a 4.3. We'll watch that, see if that number gets higher, because that would mean a possible tornado would be developing. You can see this is on the path towards, yes, Lakeview. If you're watching us in Bessemer, Hoover, Vestavia Hills, eventually here in Birmingham, we're going to see a severe potential thunderstorm. So again, you're talking about staying away from windows. You want to get in your safe place. If you are, you know, in an area where, let's for example say you're in a manufactured home, I would still be going to a shelter in this case, because you can get these winds to knock down trees, and unfortunately they can cause a lot more destruction on, say, a manufactured home than any other house with a couple of stories to it. So again, this is a tornado warned storm as it's back into Tuscaloosa County, and then going forward, this is a severe warning, and that does include Jefferson County. And again, this is also, let's see, parts of Shelby County as well. So if you're watching us in Pelham as well as Chelsea, you are also under that warning, severe thunderstorm warning. There has been reports of 1-inch diameter hail with this storm, so that would be a concern if you don't have your car in the garage. If you have a garage, well, go ahead and put it in there. And again, we are seeing, let's see, the tornado continues the warning in Bibb and parts of Tuscaloosa and Bibb County. So again, there's kind of like two parts to the storm that we're watching. So they're giving you that first alert. This batch here, that's where you would get the some of the strong winds, but also mainly the hail. So the hail core is moving in ahead of where that possible circulation is. You'd have that possible circulation farther down in southwest. So again, this is updating. Coaling, you're in the clear now. Tuscaloosa, you're in the clear, but this is, again, still we're watching radar indicated possible circulation. If you're watching us in Lakeview, again, you are still under that tornado warning. Then you go a little bit farther to the east, and that's where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. Large hail and damaging straight line winds are going to be your top threat. This is our only real thunderstorm right now. Look at all the lightning compared to if I widen the view. That's it. There's no lightning. Well, it's relatively no lightning to the north. This is the main storm right now. We're watching, not seeing a whole lot back down to the south, so that's some good news. Hopefully this will weaken here soon and ingest some of that rain-cooled air, but right now it is the storm to watch. Again, these have had the history of rotating, producing hail, and again could produce a tornado at any moment. Again, we've been monitoring that circulation very, very closely for you. Again, it is a powerful storm. It's going to be a noisy one. If you have any, your pets get upset with, severe weather and the thunder and lightning, you might want to, go ahead and medicate them if you do that. If you're watching us a little bit farther to the east, sometimes those meds take a little bit to kick on in, like in Leeds, in Trussville, Pell City. I would go ahead and prepare for a thunderstorm because it is moving off to the northeast. So again, that warning continues, the tornado warning for parts of Bibb and Tuscaloosa County. This is radar indicated again. So again, we're watching an area of circulation. We'll check out and examine the velocity data to see if anything jumps out at us. Not seeing that really tight circulation that we saw before is kind of broad. It doesn't look as intense as it once was, so that is good news. Hopefully that trend continues. Again, we're watching that core of the storm. We'll shift over to this product that's going to tell us a little bit more about what is the top concern, and right now that would be for hail. So again, we're talking about Patterson Town. You could have 1-inch diameter hail, but the core has been shrinking too, so maybe this storm is weakening. We can hope for that. Certainly they can cycle back up, and so we don't want to forget about it right now. Certainly we still have warnings going on. We have tornado warning still, and also we have the severe thunderstorm warning for West Jefferson County, and there's also an aerial flood advisory. This has been issued for parts of Blount, Fayette, Jefferson, Lamar, Pickens, Tuscaloosa, Walker County, so I will toggle that on as well. Traveling right now, until this heavy rain passes on through, it's not advised. Again, those travel conditions looking very poor out there with all the heavy rainfall. Again, we've seen just some areas of torrential rainfall in a short period of time. There you can see all the counties under the flood advisory. So that could be shifting farther to the east. Again, 65 is about to get hammered with very heavy rain, maybe some hail out of this from Birmingham southward through Hoover, even into the Pelham area, and then you have some lighter precipitation farther southwest.
All right, Jill, let's go in really close here. We're tracking a tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. This is to the north and east. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt here with you. It is 5:34 of First Alert Weather Day. You're watching WBRC Fox 6. We're going to stay with you anytime we have a tornado warning like this. We're going to stay on to give you that first alert for these storms. As we've been telling you now for over a week, it's been one of those systems here. We've had a lock-in on this thing for several days now, and the model data has really been rather consistent. That's one of the things I look for in forecasting. As we look to the north here, I just want to say Brookwood, the severe risk has ended for you along Highway 216. Woodland Lake Road is one of those locations we're watching. This is 216. This runs back to the Loves Travel Center right there at the Bucksville exit. There's Lakeview. This is Highway 216. Jill, let's move this screen so we can see the tornado warning. That is Lowtown, and actually here we go. So we're in the Polygon here. The tornado warning Polygon includes roughly from Birchfield all the way to the Academy Park areas, but the tornado would be in this zone. And as Jill has noted, we've been kind of looking through a lot of data here, doing a little real-time analysis. The couplet doesn't look quite as hooked as what we were seeing earlier. We saw that well-pronounced hook echo. Let's go to velocity and take a look at this. We'll go through some different products. Well, looking at this, still right around Lakeview, Pattersontown, this is where it would be. Jill, circle this right in here around Abernat. That's Highway 216. I mentioned the Love's Travel Center. That is right here off of Interstate 20. Mercedes plant's back in here. This is Cafe Junction. That's a Highway 5 junction on Interstate 5920. So this is north of the Mercedes plant around Abernat, Highway 216. If you're watching me around Black Diamond, Oak, Bull City areas, Lowtown, also around places like Oak Grove. Let's keep a watch on this. Oak Grove, Toadvine, those communities there in the Jefferson County. Adger, that's another area. Let's keep an eye on this as this moves on through. And be ready here around Hueytown. Let's watch this as this evolves. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect. We're going to have some strong wind gusts in this part of Jefferson County. I'm talking about for us here in Bessemer, around Powder Plant Road, the Bessemer Superhighway over towards Brighton and Lipscomb. Those areas, I want you in a safe place, a sturdy shelter as those strong wind gusts move into Jefferson County. There's Glen Allen, the UAB Medical West is right here. The Bessemer Civic Center is right in this area, just kind of circling where this is with respect to you. You can see North Johns. There it is, right around Bull City, crossing into Jefferson County. Now the Million Dollar Lakes area, Lakeview, there's a Dollar General in here. It's now crossed 216. It's now moving into Jefferson County. So there's North Johns, Black Diamond community, and Lowtown. We're talking about the western part of Jefferson County. Not a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, but some damaging winds possible with this. The tornado warning will soon be allowed to expire for Tuscaloosa County. That's the rotation that we're still detecting at the moment. At the least, we're going to have some winds in here, damaging wind gusts possible, and not a good time to be in all this rain out on the roadway. Wait and let some of this stuff pass on by. It's been a windy day. We've got a wind advisory in effect. We've had some gusts over 40 miles per hour. This will be a good time, Jill, I tell you, to kind of reset the stage, show you what's going on around the area as we go to the wide view, and we need to show you what's happening here. Birmingham Metro is included, and this is a call to action around Birmingham, places like that, to just stay put, stay in that sturdy shelter as those strong winds are going to move through with this storm, and be on standby in case we do have a warning that is issued. That would include the Birmingham area. This is all heavy rain that we have. Actually looks like a flood advisory in here, but this, thankfully, you know, when you see a lot of rain like this, that helps to take some of that instability out of the air, so that could help us out to the north. We are seeing some counties trimmed away from the watch. Marion, Lamar County, and I believe also it looks like right now just Marion and Lamar counties, but maybe Winston County soon will be trimmed away from the tornado watch. So we are seeing some counties dropped, which is a very good thing. But as we look at this storm at the moment, the one in particular that grabs our attention, and this is one of those areas where we saw those updraft rotation plots. You remember Jill earlier, it was right across Tuscaloosa into Jefferson County. We need to keep an eye on this. It looks like this thing may be going through a cycle. These storms, when they produce tornadoes, they kind of cycle through. They go through beginning stages to end stages, and we still see that couplet is there. There's some evidence of some rotation that's happening, not quite as pronounced as what we were seeing, but the evidence is still there on the radar as we look at this. Now, Highway 216, this is north of you. This is to the east of you, so I can sound the all clear if you're watching me around Million Dollar Lakes, the Lakeview area.